Okay, let's try that again, shall we? Okay. I'm so sorry everyone, I don't know what is going on today, but there sure are some gremlins running around in this studio attacking the camera, the PC. I don't know what is going on, but I think we're okay now. Just going to set things up real quickly so that I've got everything sorted, and then I'll be right there. Okay. Okay. Oh, thank you, Hu. I really appreciate that. It's not usually this bad, I have to say. I actually don't know what's happening. So I think just now there was some sort of camera issue. So I turned off the camera and turned it back on, and it worked fine. It seems to be working fine now. So who knows? I guess this is the thing with live broadcasting and live television, right? Sometimes it all just goes wrong. So right, let's carry on, shall we? We are, I think, now ready to go. So let's. I think we're all okay. So let's just get some of our bits out that we're going to need for our case. So we're just going to need some screws and things to get everything in there. All comes in a handy little box. Thanks, Hugh. All good. That's wonderful. Let's just move this across. Oh dear, oh dear. Okay. So what we're looking at doing now is okay, you guys can see the top-down view. That's great. What we're looking at now is just getting the motherboard into the case here, and then we can start putting all of the other bits like wiring up everything, well, that's going to be the main thing, just getting the wires all, everything connected to the motherboard, and then finally putting the graphics card in, and then we'll do a little bit of tuning and things like that as well. So what I need first are the motherboard standoffs. So we should have a nice big pack. That's what we need here. And these are for attaching our motherboard to the case. Okay, so we're just looking for, I think, about 9 of these, 9 or 10. So I'm just going to get these ready so we can just get these straight in. Now, I'm sorry I missed all of the chat earlier. People were talking about games. I'm sorry about that. But I think Ruben was talking about how PCs are great for all sorts of things other than playing games on. So yeah, I absolutely agree. I love PCs. I've used PCs all my life, and I'm just well, I mean, I made this my job, so I'm very excited. I feel very privileged to be able to make PCs, build PCs for a job. I guess not everyone can say that they're able to do something that they love so much for a job, which is great. So what I'm doing here is just making sure that all of our standoffs are in the right place. So there's a few that we'll need to add. So one was just here. So what we do is we just offer up the PC, the motherboard, to the standoffs, and we just check through all the holes. So we're going to need one here and one here. So let's just, we need one there and one there. Okay, that's great, nice and easy. So we just screw this one in here. It doesn't need to be in really tight, because the screw will that we put on top will almost will help to tighten it as it goes in on top of the motherboard. So we just need to put them in nice and easy. There we go, like so. Now we should be able to put this back in and see that we've got the right screw holes through every slot, which we now do. So it's a little bit wonky. We just need to move this so that, there we go. Right, all in place. Now we take our motherboard screws and start getting them in. So I reckon, Percy, after you've watched this and you've had your PC for a little while, if you want to do some upgrades later, or even if you want to build your own PC a bit further down the line, I reckon you're going to be able to do that. What do you think? I think oh no, we've got camera issue again. I'm so sorry. Okay, just one moment. Yeah, this is really strange. So I've got a full-size main camera. Hopefully you guys can still see this. I think you can now. Full-size main camera, but something is going wrong. It's just turning itself off. Well, I've got battery, and it's actually, well, it's connected to the mains, so it shouldn't have any issues there, but we are definitely getting issues. Yeah, yeah, I'm using OBS Studio, Ruben. Yeah, yeah, you're right. Yeah, absolutely. I've just full screened this one. I don't know. Maybe there's something wrong with the main camera. Maybe it just needs to cool down or something. So what I've done is I've turned the main camera off, and we're just going to use this one for a short while and then see what happens when we turn the main camera back on a bit later. It's all go today. I've never had a stream that has been quite as interesting as this one, but we will persevere, and there will be a brand new PC for little Percy at the end of this. That's the main thing. So we consider trying to build this ourselves. Glad we're watching you first. Yeah, brilliant. Well, this is the great thing about PCs and the PC industry and the type of things that we do. You know, I think it's always best to build your own PC if you can, but you know, not everyone can do that, and you know, it can be a little bit daunting. I do understand that. I mean, I've spent my life building computers. I remember back when me and my mum got our first PC, and it was a Dell in about, I don't know, 1998 or something. It cost an absolute bomb. It was about £3,000. And we were so scared of doing the wrong thing on it, and so yeah, no, I can understand. And you know, this is what we do. You know, the idea behind building the PC so that you guys don't have to. Quite frankly, you know, it makes it you know, a very easy and simple experience. So okay, oh, remember we've only got the overhead cam, haven't we? So right, what I'm going to do now then is just get the power supply into the PC, and the way we'll do that is we'll just turn it over, open up the back here, okay, you guys see that okay? Now this is our power supply area, right, and this is going to allow us to run all of our cables around the PC so that we can connect all of the main components. And then these here, these are our front panel connections. Okay, so these come from, I don't know if you guys can see. Oh, that's quite close. There you go. So that's the front panel there with your USB and your earphones and the power switch. So all of that is running from these cables here, so we'll have to run those as well. But first, let's get the power supply into the case. And we'll then be able to run all of our cables throughout the PC to make sure everything is connected up. Selecting the right components is there's a bit overwhelming. Yeah, there's so much choice, even just graphics cards. Yeah, you're absolutely right, Hugh. It can be a bit of a minefield, and of course, you know, you can. I mean, I don't think you can ever get it truly. Well, you can get it truly wrong, I suppose, if you're installing. You know, if you try to buy DDR5 RAM for your DDR4 motherboard, then you know you're going to have an issue. But generally, I think people worry a lot about things like bottlenecking, and I don't think that's quite as big of an issue as people seem to think it is, because you know, yes, there could be a small bottleneck, but ultimately you're still going to get the the maximum performance from your graphics card, which is the main part of your PC when you're gaming. Just, you know, regardless of which CPU you use, yeah, you'll always get some bottlenecking, but it's never going to be a huge issue. Right, so what I'm doing now is just getting the PSU into place. Got some screws here. Ruben seems to know his stuff. thanks so much for all of your input, Ruben. Definitely a good idea to get a professional to do your first one, then you're not to blame if it goes wrong. Yeah, that's right. CPUs are very expensive and as fragile as eggs. Yeah, absolutely. I got a friend to help me build my first one. The best thing about a PC, in my opinion, is being able to upgrade it and make sure Percy can learn that one day too. Oh, that's so nice. Yeah, absolutely. It's I think it's such a cool experience to upgrade your PC. You know, you might find that, you know, a year down the line, you might just want to put a new graphics card in there. You might want to put some more RAM in. You know, you might not necessarily need to, but it can be fun. You know, I think it's just a fun experience, and it helps you to learn as well. You know. And that's how I learned. I just learned by doing it myself, and you know, throughout my life, since I was you know, quite a bit younger, I just built myself a new PC every few years, I guess. It's fun. I really enjoy it. Right, so we've got quite a mess of cables here. So what we're going to have to do is make sure that we run these. I'm going to run these just in a very basic way first, and then a bit later I'll do the proper tidying to make sure it's all nice in here. What I'm going to do, guys, is probably just take out this hard drive caddy, because, well, quite frankly, I mean, you'll get this in the box, but nobody uses hard drives anymore, and I suppose you could put your 2.5-inch SATA drives in there, but this is where I recommend that you put your SATA drives just back here. If you were to add any space storage to the PC, that's what I would suggest. But you've also got I think at least one other M.2 slot on the motherboard as well. So yeah, there are many ways to upgrade this PC, which is great. And if you look at, can you see here what we've got here? So modern cases now, they build in these fan hubs, which is brilliant. So what happens is we just connect the fans to each of the connectors here, right? And then there'll be one connector which just goes round to the motherboard. So you'll be able to control all of the fans really easily, just with a single button press, which is fantastic. Really like that. Just taking some more water, sorry about that. Yeah, Ruben, I definitely agree. It is. I like it. I like consoles. I've got a Switch. I usually play the Switch with my nieces and nephew and my girlfriend's daughter, and we find that to be really fun. But there's nothing like a PC it's just, yeah, just does so much more. Right, so we're going to put the cables that we don't need at the moment. So these we'll put aside. We'll probably need one of those later for to power this little chip here. Here we've got our power cables for the CPU, for the graphics card, and for the motherboard. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll just put these through here. So I know that this one will want to go roughly through this one. These two will probably want to go through there as well, but we won't need those just yet. And then these two are going to go right up at the top here, because the CPU power delivery ports are right up here. If I can get those in. Here we go. A little bit tight in there, but I'm sure we can fit those through. Okay. All right. So now we need to bring these through, connect all of these up. So oh, this one actually, the cables for the GPU, we'll put those through this one. I think that should be fine. Now, this is our main one here. We just want to make sure that we get this in first. This is our 24 pin for the motherboard. Okay, there we go. And I'm just going to turn this around and get these connectors in for the CPU up here. Okay, so we're only going to need one of these. So let's bring one back through. No point having multiples when we only need one. There we go. Oh, so sorry if all you saw there was my big head. Apologies. Yeah, that's my big pink head coming in to view there. Sorry about that. My girlfriend's little girl wanted me to dye my hair, so we chose pink. I think it looks great. Suppose it's not for everybody. Right, let's just try getting this through. Right. Does Percy know what these components are and what they do? Yeah, great question. We're just chatting that through at the moment. All right. I would love to be part of that discussion. Put something up on the screen. Ruben. Oh, you know what? Ruben's here. Thanks, Ruben. You've been an absolutely brilliant. So yeah, Ruben seems to really know his stuff. That's great. Right, so we've got the main power cable. So what we want to do here is we're just going to double check that these are definitely in nice and tight. Yes, they are, and yes, they are on that one as well. Okay, so now we want to take a little look roughly where our connectors are for the front panel. So I'm just going to turn the PC around here so we can see everything. There we go. Is that all okay? Yeah, that looks fine. So what we've got here is, this is our front panel connector with our power and speaker and any LEDs and things like that. We've got some USB ports here. We've got our front audio panel. We've got this is our digital LED or RGB port here. And then this is our non-digital or non-addressable, which is kind of the old version of RGB. Up here we've got another, this is our USB 3 port. And then this I think is, yeah, that's the HDMI, but I don't think we have that on top. So let's have a little look and see what we need to bring through. Sorry about all the noise there. Right, so that's our GPU. We'll just put that through there. So CPU, GPU, yeah, brilliant. PSU power supply. That's fantastic. Thanks so much, Ruben. Really helpful. It's really nice to have someone like Ruben on the stream because whilst building I really enjoy building PCs, and I get a bit into it. When I'm live streaming, I can sometimes just kind of forget that there are people watching, and I forget to talk. So very helpful to have someone like Ruben to talk things through. Right, so what I'm doing here is we've got all of our cables. So we have got an HDMI, we've got a USB here, we've got our audio connector and our front panel connector. So the front panel, I'm going to put this on its side. I know that's probably not the best view for you at the moment, but I apologise. So the audio, I know we want to bring through to the bottom. So I'm going to pull this one out here and I'm going to bring that up through the bottom connector. I appreciate this is not the best view for you guys at the moment. I do apologise. This one, I'm gonna do this as quickly as I can. I'll come through here. USB is here as well, and then our front panel goes there. Okay. All right. So that now is all of our cables through the right holes. So we've got these little rubber grommets here, which is really nice. So just means it's a bit tidy and looks really good. So let's put our connectors in the right places. So this is our HDMI, that goes in there. Let's just move this one around a little bit so that it comes in the right way. This is our USB 3. Get this one in here now. Ruben, what other games have you been playing this year? Anything interesting? You were talking about Baldur's Gate 3. Is there anything else that you've been playing? Okay, that's the USB 3 in. I was playing a little bit of Sea of Stars recently, which is a kind of an old-fashioned-ish, kind of like an old Japanese RPG game. Really, really fun. I've been enjoying that a lot. Let's just bring that through. Just having to do a little bit of monkeying around with cables here to make sure that we have enough length on them. Sorry again for the bad view, but this won't last too long. Okay, here we go. Ruben says, recently I've played a lot of Cyberpunk 2077. It's much better than it was at release. Yeah, you know what? I obviously heard all of the feedback about Cyberpunk when it first came out, how it was very buggy, not even close to being finished. But the feedback that I've heard now on the 2.0 release and also the, what's the name of the new DLC as well? I can't remember now. But it looks brilliant. It looks really good now, and I think I'm going to give it a go myself. Okay, so front panel, here we go, speaker, power LED, there we go. So that should be in there. Great. Okay, can you all see that? I'm going to give our main camera a go now, so just give me 1 second while I just go over to the camera. Okay. Oh, all right. Could we be back in on both? Let's see. Yeah. All right. Let's hope it doesn't break again. Let's move some of this stuff across. So I've got some room. Oops. Just dropping things here. How's that? Okay, that's good. All right, so we're almost ready to turn this thing on now. So let's just get our graphics card in, and yeah, we'll be ready. So let's unbox this. So as Ruben said earlier, our graphics card, or the GPU, or even more the graphical processing unit, this is the bit that does all of the fancy stuff in your games. So this renders all of the images, all 3D and 2D images, and makes it so that it's possible to even play games. Recently I played on a lot of Terraria. That's a game I'd really recommend to Percy too. I play it with my partner and she loves it. It's really fun and it can be very creative. Oh, okay. And according to Steam, I played it for 420 hours. Well, okay. Yeah, you certainly got a lot of value out of that one, didn't you, Ruben? Okay, so let's just take this plastic peel off here. There's quite a lot of it. All right. So, if we can still see here, yeah, this is our graphics card. So this is the RX 6600. Now, it is an entry-level graphics card, but it's completely ideal, perfectly ideal for the kind of games that Percy is going to be playing. So mostly for your esports games. Yeah, the good thing about this is, I mean, the cost of graphics cards are out of control at the moment. So we had another customer buy a graphics card just about 2 weeks ago that was £1,000. Now you might be thinking to yourself, wow, that's crazy. How can you spend £1,000 on a graphics card? Well, the truth is that's not even the most expensive one. You can get a £1,600 graphics card, which is the NVIDIA 4090, which, I mean, that's just insane. Absolutely insane, isn't it? £1,600. But it's the best of the best, if you know, that's what you want. Now, I personally wouldn't buy a 4090 for just gaming. I think it's more of a productivity card. So perhaps if you're doing streaming or you know, some video editing, light rendering, that kind of thing, it doesn't need to be you know, I'm not talking really professional level, because there are professional cards for that, but oh, hang on, I've got another peel on this as well. But ultimately it will do everything you throw at it. But that comes at a price, and £1,600 is quite a lot for most people. Oh, I've done the wrong two here. Let's just put one of these back on. So what I'm doing now is we've got some just some dust shields at the bottom of the PC, at the back of the PC here. So we're going to need a couple of these open for our graphics card. And I'm just going to close the other ones off there so that they have a nice clean look. Oh. There we go. I think my most played game is probably, well, lifetime is probably Dota 2. But this year, almost certainly, Baldur's Gate 3. And I just started playing some, what's it called? Path of Exile. So I was really excited about, let's turn this around, really excited about Diablo 4, but I think Diablo 4 turned out to be not that good. So I decided to play Path of Exile instead, and I'm really enjoying that. Really enjoying it. Right, just looking for a couple of standoffs. Here we go. Okay, everything we need is in there. To put it into perspective, my graphics card is from 2016 and still runs today's games without problems whatsoever. What have you got there, Ruben? 1080 Ti or something like that? Henry, thanks for joining the stream, Henry. Is Baldur's Gate good? It's absolutely incredible. I would say that Baldur's Gate is quite possibly one of, if not the best game in the last 10 plus years. It is that good. And it has, I would say, almost infinite replay value. So if you don't know much about Baldur's Gate, it uses all of the rule sets from Dungeons and Dragons. Probably everyone's heard of D&D, Dungeons and Dragons. It's all about the dice rolls. So everything you do is a dice roll. And because of that, you can do almost anything. It's really fun. Really, really fun. Yeah, I've been having loads and loads of fun playing Baldur's Gate 3, and I really love it. Right, so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to plug our GPU in now, and I'm going to tidy up these cables a bit later, because right now we just want to turn it on and make sure everything is working fine, and then we'll do a little bit of a tidy afterwards. Okay. Everything's still looking fine. So Ruben says it's phenomenal. Some of the best voice acting I've seen in a video game. The story is great. There's so much content in it. Yeah, it's got so much replayability, hasn't it? Hugh asks, based on today's tech, what would be the next level of upgrade for the graphics card? We won't be doing that soon, but interested in reviews. So I think it really depends, Hugh, on what you're going to be using it for. So this card is, I would say, this is going to be great for so this card is going to be great for your esports titles, so such as Apex Legends, but also things like Counter-Strike or Valorant, Dota, any games that really are not the very, very advanced and high-end, what's called AAA games. Now, this will play the AAA games, it absolutely will, but it just won't play them at really, really, really high settings. The other thing to bear in mind is the type of monitor that you have. So, do you know what type of monitor you have, or are you planning to buy one? So most people's monitors are 1080p, but you can also then get 1440p resolution, and then you can also get 4K. So depending on which monitor you have is gonna depend, you know, which graphics card you're going to want to use for it, but also, you know, whether you're going to want to run it at high visuals and you know, with all of the fidelity and all of the settings set up to maximum. So as an example, I would say this card would be best on a 1080p monitor at probably medium settings, and that will get you a good 100, 120-ish frames per second on something like Apex Legends. Now, if you wanted to still play Apex Legends, but you wanted to run on a 4K monitor, that's when this one will start to struggle a little bit, because you're pumping out you know, millions and millions more pixels than you would be on a 1080 screen. So you'd have to bring the settings right down so that the graphical fidelity is quite low, and then it would run slower than it would on 1080p. So whereas you would have 120 frames, you might start getting maybe 20, 30, 40 frames. So you know, that wouldn't be, I wouldn't recommend a 4K monitor for this. Now Probably what I would suggest for this is a 1080p monitor with probably 144 hertz, maybe 160 or thereabouts. That would be absolutely ideal. But say in a few years' time, and Percy wants to start playing some AAA games, maybe some Call of Duty, maybe some Baldur's Gate, or whatever, any of the games that need a bit more oomph, you might then want to look at something a bit further up the stack. So this is a 6600 by AMD. So you could maybe look at something like the modern day equivalent would be a 7600, but you'd want to go a bit further up. So you'd maybe look at the 7900, and then you've got the XT or the XTX, and one's faster than the other. But you as you go up that graphics card stack, the prices do have a very sharp increase. So from the 66 you go to the 68, and then to the 69. Then there's very steep increases there. What I'll do though is I'll send you a couple of links, Hugh, so that you've got some to give you some framing, some graphs showing all of the different graphics cards. I think it will really help, and I'll send you some advice there as well. Okay, so yes, Ruben has the 1080 Ti Founders Edition. That is the card that NVIDIA wished they didn't make, because it's just too good, and people are still using it all this time later, when they would much prefer that people bought a 4080 or, well, really anything from the modern day suite of graphics cards. Okay, so here you're using the work monitor 1440. Okay, so if it's a work monitor, it's probably going to be 1440 at 60 hertz, I imagine. That'd be fine for this for the moment, but yeah, I would suggest that the best kind of monitor for this would be 1080p at about 144 or 160. I think 65 is typical, or maybe even a bit faster as well. I'll send you some options, and we can talk about that later. Right. So there's our almost finished PC. What I need to do now is just a couple of things with the get all the fans connected, and then we're done. So let's go back to the top-down view, I think, and have a little look at how to mount up these fans. Okay, so this is our fan header here. So what we need to look for is that there should be an out. So fan 1 goes in there, fan 2. So all the fans are connected, and these are our LEDs. So we just need to follow this round and make sure we should have here we go. Right, so here's all the out cables here. So this is our can you see this okay? I'm getting a bit of glare there, I'm not sure why that is. Oh, there we go. Okay. Yeah, Ruben, you're absolutely right. The difference between, so 60 hertz is I mean, it'll be fine for the moment, but everything will just feel so much more clean and crisp and smooth on a high refresh rate monitor. I would say that's almost as even more important than the resolution. I really do. Right, so what we've got here is a little power adapter for our RGB controller, our fan controller here, and then these two are the ones that connect to the motherboard. So let's get these prepped. So we need to take these two cables, there we go, and these two will probably come down here and through, because I think they're both going to be at the bottom, and then this one will connect to one of our spare SATA connectors here. All right, so this is where things start getting a little bit confusing with all of the cables everywhere. But there we go. We can just tidy this up nicely. We're just going to get everything plugged in for the moment. There we go, so that's our power, and we'll probably just do this, where we can just tuck this under there, like so, and we'll tuck this under here. It'll be nice and clean. If it's in the budget, then look at 144 Hertz. Yeah, absolutely, or even 165. The good thing about a monitor, Hugh, is they will generally last you a very long time. So my advice is to always get the best monitor you can afford, because you'll almost certainly upgrade almost everything in your PC at least once before replacing your monitor. So you get yourself a nice, say, 1080p with really high refresh rate, or even a 1440 with high refresh rate, and then you'll keep that for 5, 6, 7 years probably. Generally they're pretty reliable, but then if you have some extra headroom in your monitor, then you can put your better graphics card in a bit later, and it will still be able to push that high frames and high resolution that you might want a bit later down the line, which might not necessarily be possible now, but certainly will be possible later. Hope that makes sense. Right, so let's find our homes for these two cables. So this is the fan header and the digital RGB. So I think they're going to be at the bottom here. So let's just have a little look around. So, yep, digital LED down here. And then have we got a system fan? Yep, system fan down here as well. So I'll just poke these through in here. So just bring them through, let's get it back down on the side and then plug these in. So you always need to make sure that you plug the right ones in here, because it doesn't make it very clear, but there is the possibility of shorting out some things. If you were, for instance, to use the ARGB or digital RGB connector and put it onto the non-RGB, because they run at different voltages. One is 5 volts and one is what's the other one? I forget now actually, but they're different voltages, so you don't want to do that. Okay, right. I'd agree with that. I've only ever needed to buy a good monitor once, and it did make a world of difference. Yeah. Okay. And we have monitors ranging from, I don't know, £100 to probably about £2.5 grand. So yeah, there's a lot of choice when it comes to monitors. Right, so let's just tidy this up a bit now. I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're just going to put this back. Actually, we won't put the back panel on now. We're just going to do a test boot. Okay, so power cable. Where is the power cable? Oh, one moment. Okay. I can use this one. I've got so many power cables here, I forget I have them just dangling underneath. Okay. Oh, let's do this up. Okay. And oh. Okay. So, can you guys see this? we've got our fans on. We've got lights on the RAM. This is looking good. And what I'm going to do now is just do something a bit scary, which is to unplug my monitor, which I use for the stream, from my main PC, and I'm just going to plug it into this PC here, and hope everything is okay. So I'm not going to be able to see you for a short while if you say anything. Right. Hopefully you guys can still hear me. I've now unplugged you. Can't see what's happening. Hopefully we're still live. Okay, so what I'm waiting for now is probably our RAM to go through a training exercise, I guess. So what it's doing is the RAM is just kind of going through all of its cycles and saying to the motherboard, I can do this, I can't do this, this is how fast I am, this is my speeds and my feeds and everything else. And then the motherboard's probably going to restart a couple of times, and then before we get any kind of signal. So just going to wait a short while for that. Hopefully you guys can still see me, because I don't have my monitor on now, and I think everything is fine, but let's see. Okay, so we've got another restart there now. That looks great. Okay, wonderful. We've got our boot screen, which is what we're looking for. So that means that the PC has now booted up into BIOS, and that means everything is connected up properly and we're all good. So what I will need to do now is do some probably boring things like installing Windows, doing all of the driver updates, doing some benchmarking and stress testing and all that kind of stuff. And then I'll also tidy up all of the cables on the back. Let me just plug my cable back in so that I can see everything again. One sec. Sorry for the noise. Okay, there we go. All right. Yeah, so the case fans look very cool. Yeah, I really like this case a lot. It's really, really good. I'm a massive Lian Li fan, so it was a real joy for me to be able to upgrade Percy to this better case than the one that we had advertised on the PC that his dad bought for him. So I think almost everything got upgraded for Percy actually, other than the graphics card. So Merry Christmas, Percy. I hope you enjoy it. So like I said, I'm going to be doing some boring things now. So that's going to be pretty much the end of the stream, because it's the end of the build. I don't think anyone's going to want to watch me sit and just install Windows. It's probably a lot less interesting than the last hour or so. But yeah, thank you so much for joining. I really appreciate all of you for tuning in. It's been real fun for me. It's been a little bit stressful as well with all of the little technology gremlins that we've had, but we've pulled through it okay. I think we've been a great team. Oh, we've got some more comments here. Ruben says, Tal, when you're done, it might be a good idea to show Percy and his family how to open the case so they can dust it. That'll keep it working tip-top for a long time. That's a great idea. Let's do that. So, what we have, let me just power it down. So, what we have are, this is the rear side panel. So I'll just put this on so you guys can see. Hopefully you can still see that. Yeah, okay. So this one just let's move this to the side here. Okay, so this one just pops on nice and easy. And I'm doing this backwards now, so that's going to show how easy it's going to be. There we go. So that just pops on like this, and there should be hello. Oh god, I can't feel it. No, okay, so it's just a clip-on the side, and then so that is on now, and so at the rear are all of your cables. Okay, so you won't really need to go into the back of there unless you need to unplug anything. Of course, you know, feel free to play around with the PC as much as you want. You do have, and we do offer an extensive warranty. So you'll have a 3-year warranty with this, and that's actually an on-site warranty too. So what that means is, if something goes wrong within the next 3 years, let's say we think it might be the graphics card. So what you'll do is you'll give me a ring and say, hi Tal, I think we've got a problem with our PC. We'll do a little bit of troubleshooting. Okay, can you just try unplugging this and plugging this in? Okay, right, sounds like the graphics card. So what I'll do then, I'll send one of the Gamertech technical support engineers. They'll bring a replacement graphics card with them, because we think it's a graphics card, and they'll come on. They'll come to your home. You won't be, you know, it'll be no disruption. You won't lose access to your PC for a long period of time because you won't have to send it back. But they'll come in and they'll just put in the new graphics card, and then they'll test it and they'll say, yep, that's all done. That was the faulty graphics card. We've replaced that for you. And then they'll be off on their merry way. And that's it. It's all done. And that'll be the same if it's a faulty CPU, faulty motherboard, something goes wrong with the case. So everything is covered for 3 years. So that's 3-year parts, or the labour, on-site warranty, and you get free lifetime phone troubleshooting as well. So Hugh, you can call any time if you need any help. And that doesn't just mean if something's wrong. If you just want some advice, feel free to get in touch. Give us a call. So yeah, what was I saying? So okay, about maintaining and about maintaining this. So yes, the front panel is this one. So we've got our glass front panel. So again, this is also really easy. You just line it up with there's some, you can see the little sticking out bits there. And then there's 3 holes down here. So you just put it in those holes like so, give it a little firm push, and then there's a screw back here. It's a captive screw, so you'll never lose it, and it just screws into place. Nice and easy. And that's done, right? So what I would suggest is, for dusting, don't use a vacuum cleaner, okay? So the number 1 rule, never ever use a vacuum cleaner near a computer, even if it's not plugged in, because it creates static electricity. What you want is, oh dear, hold on. Just climbing around now. What you want is something like this, which is called a CompuCleaner. I think that's a brand name, so I'm sure other PC cleaners exist. But what this does is it blows. It's a high pressure blower rather than a vacuum sucker. And it doesn't create any static electricity. So you can take off the side here, use one of these, just give it a real good blow, put it in the fans, put it under there, put it through the bottom, all around everywhere like this, and it'll be clean in no time. Or just use a dry rag. Just use a dry rag. Just give it a bit of a clean, etc. on the sides there as well, and on all the fans. So I mean, we've got dust filters on the top and on the front that should hopefully keep most of the dust out of the machine. But yeah, I'd recommend one of these, and I think you can get them for about £20 or something. It's worthwhile. You'll keep that for the rest of the PC's life. Okay. I think that's everything. Thanks again for all the questions. Thank you to Hugh for being our customer. We really appreciate it. It's we're a new business, and for you to have taken a chance on us really means a lot, and I truly mean that. It really does mean a lot. I hope you'll be happy with it. I think it's going to be a brilliant PC for you, and I'll be more than happy to help you with any upgrades later or any help that you might need with your PC as well. Please, if you wouldn't mind giving us a review when you've had your PC for a little while on Trustpilot, that'd be great. I'll send you the details, and of course, don't hesitate to get back in touch if you want to talk about anything at all. So, I've been Tal, this is a Gamertech build, and I'm going to sign off for now. Thanks very much. Bye.